Hey there, everyone. It's Adrienne Lopez, the Integrative Awareness Coach. How's everyone doing? Today is Tuesday, June the 16th, and I just wanted to stop by and share a little practice with you that's related to this week's meditation, my free 11-week meditation series that I'm making available to all of you that stop by, both on Facebook and my YouTube channel, which I just started. So if you haven't stopped by and checked it out, please do, and share and like and subscribe. I'd be very thankful to you for doing that. I'm trying to get it up off the ground, and so I thank you in advance if that's you. But back to the practice. So in this week's meditation, I took you through a guided meditation where you were invited to go through each one of your chakras. And, or, sometimes they're referred to as energy centers or energy vortex. And in yogic philosophy, this just refers to what they call a spinning wheel, or the wheel of energy, how life force or prana is distributed through your body. And so as we went through each chakra, I asked you to observe what stories, beliefs, ideas, or sensations that you have stored in these certain areas of your body energetically, and release them if they're acting as an obstacle to get you where you want to be, so you can embody the fullness of who you are, your highest potential, your highest consciousness. And I had mentioned in the second week also that a lot of what stops us is all this junk code or information that we have stored in our body. So one of the first steps that we have to take is to clear all that out. So if you haven't done that yet, I invite you to go check out that video. And then I also wanted to give you today a specific practice that you can do in addition to participating in the video. So what I'm calling this practice and this video is how to make your obstacles your guiding light. And so for most of us, our obstacles are our beliefs about who we are. And I have also did a video on the idea of Plato's cave, or Plato's allegory of the cave, where he talks about the nature of reality and our relationship to it. And I mention it because I think it's a really good metaphor to explain our relationship to reality. And so just to quickly summarize this, we are containers of light. And light comes through us, which is our life force, and then our thoughts, beliefs, ideas, and sensations, which are all different degrees of energy, your densities of energy, are then projected out through shadow and light into the world, which we call our reality. And so if we are having something in our lives show up for us that is less than satisfactory, the real work, instead of and I posted this on my personal Facebook page today, instead of dealing with the projection screen and trying to change that, we need to go back to the projector and look at what belief is being projected out onto the screen of our life, for example. So I wanted to give you an example from my life that I'm dealing with right now. So this has to do with judgment and being in the spotlight and expressing who I am freely. And so I'm looking at my first chakra, my root chakra, the Muladhara chakra. And this has to do with safety and stability and security. And the bija, or seed thought for the root chakra, is I am. And this has to do with our beliefs about feeling safe on the earth, our right to be here, our sense of belonging, our sense of that we'll have our basic needs met, safety, security, and housing, love, things like this. So for sensitives like me, empaths, and creatives, this tends to be a central issue in our lives. And so because our ego was so great at trying to protect us, that when we go into a situation where we have an opportunity to be in the spotlight and share our passion and our ideas, our ego comes up and wants to protect us because it feels like we're going to die. In our body, that's what it feels like I'm going to die if I do this. And of course, we are not going to die, but the belief that the ego is built on is going to die. And so it's a matter of context and how we look at it. So this is a matter of going into our bodies, because it's not just our minds, right? Our minds are the transmitter of information. The information is actually stored in our body, which we pick up through our environments, through our interactions, through our social conditioning of our families and our schools and our society, and what we're told about, who we get to be, what kind of dreams that we're allowed to have. Just to give you a little bit more of an example of my life, like what I'm doing right now, this was not an option in my family, they didn't even have the context to dream of doing what I'm doing right now. And so I had to create a whole new space that didn't exist before, like a possibility. And then it's not just a mental concept, it's actually a physical embodiment of this. And so this is happening on multiple layers. And that's why this meditation series that I'm offering you and sharing with you is so important, because it gives you the tools and the practices and the know-how to start housing the reality that you really want to live. And it's not just a purely selfish endeavor, right? Because when we get to be and express our passion, then we make that available to all the people around us. And this is the type of work that will create the kind of world that we want to live in. So today, in this practice that I'm sharing with you, how to turn your obstacles into your guiding light, with the example that I just gave you, which is, my first chakra has some ideas about what happens when I'm judged. And so I can look at that, get a piece of paper, get my pen, go to my root chakra, and then just write down all the beliefs that I have about, standing in my spotlight, having power, and then what happens when I'm judged, right? So I'm just going to fill my page with all the ideas and beliefs I have around judgment. And then once I do that, so you can divide your paper in two. On one side, you can put your topic I'm judged, or what happens when I'm judged. That's my obstacle that I've been having to get around or to step over. And so the only way that I can do that is to transform it into instead of being a negative, I'm going to transform it into a positive and make it my guiding light. So one example is, so people will exclude me from their life if I fully express who I am. Woo, that's a doozy, isn't it? So a lot of these beliefs are inherited, right? they're picked up from our culture around us. So I just wrote that down, and that's pretty dense, right? It doesn't have a lot of freedom or choice or movement, and it just squashes any hope of being different. So on the opposite side, I'm going at the top of the column, I'm going to put my guiding light. And so in a way, this is a form of dialectic behavior therapy, because it's two parts of you having a conversation. In hypnotherapy, we call this subpersonality work. So you're talking with two parts of yourself that apparently seem in conflict. And so you're acting as the mediator between the two. So how can I take this idea that I'm going to be excluded from people if I express who I am? First of all, when I say it out loud and I write it down, it becomes conscious. Like I pull it out of my unconscious and I make it conscious. And I go, well, that's right. And I'm just about to judge myself for having that idea. So it's like, how can I, first of all, is that true? Is that idea really true? No, it's not. And the truth is if I'm being who I am and somebody cannot be with the authenticity of it and chooses not to be in my life, that's on them, right? It has nothing to do with me. And it's more of like a threat, like that a parent would manipulate a child with, right? So a lot of these were parenting techniques that we began to embody when we weren't behaving the way that our parents thought we should, right? They used judgment, shame, and guilt in order to get us to fall back in line. So if I was being who I was, singing or dancing or expressing myself, the joy in my heart, and it wasn't convenient for my parent or it was annoying to them because, they had a different agenda at that moment, they may have used that judgment energy to get me to behave, right? And so there is, a deep wounding connected to these things, like they're in the body. And so this is on multiple levels, and not just for me, but everyone, right? How we get conditioned and acculturated to behave in certain guidelines that keep us stuck and disconnected from our truth about who we are. So this takes a lot of courage and a lot of wherewithal to step into this and do this work. And it's always helpful to have a companion to do this with, to support you, because it's, it's some deep work that, I'm inviting you to do. So how can I turn that into my guiding light? Well, there's many ways, right? So I'm going to write some bullet points that actually not only counter but dissolve that belief. So for example, I could say something like, I am free to express who I am. I could put, I have every right to express my passion and shine my light in the world. And I could go on. But I am going to go on after this video. I'm going to go on and I'm going to continue to write until I'm done. And then I'm going to pick the one that's most powerful for me, like the most like myth buster statement that really turns that obstacle, that false belief, and how it is embedded in my body into the light. So really like having this belief, how has it empowered me really in my life? How is it empowering in my life? Right? It's taught me to believe in myself, to have courage, to have faith in myself and not look toward outside validation for my talents, my self-worth, my gifts. And that's really the most powerful gift that it's given me. So while these obstacles seem like, really like stopping points for us, they're actually the door through to freedom. And so that's a little bit of a extension of the second week meditation. So again, I want to encourage you to go and go through that whole process, and then go down and then slow it down, right? Maybe you don't want to overwhelm yourself, right? So you just want to pick maybe 2 or 3 obstacles that you find when you're going through the meditation and turn them into your guiding light, like I just did with you here. So anyhow, I hope that you found something helpful in this little exercise that I shared with you today. And I'd love to know what you got out of it. So if you feel confident, I invite you to just share in the comment box with me. I'm always interested to hear about how these things, these practices and ideas and meditations and tools that I'm sharing are resonating with people, and what you're finding out about yourself. Because this is really, my passion is helping people to step fully into their power and the fullness of who they are in their life. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Namaste. Until I see you next time, please remember what a valuable treasure you are. Bye for now.